people will keep coming in as they realize what's going on. Otherwise, it's a holiday weekend, so we understand people are.
Some people are coming around texted.
So should I wait?
No.
Um,
I'll listen to it. Just one thing, please, if anyone has their phone on, put on silent or vibration.
So typically, so we're studying TatvaBodha today, and last time we did a lot of time doing introductions, so I won't do the introductions again. Today we'll just get started and we'll get going. We have a new person, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Felix. Not really sure what else to say.
Okay. So you heard about the topic and you wanted to.
Yeah, I heard it through the AARCC.
Wow. Okay. Sounds very good. So let me get started, and then we'll talk about what we've got going on. So you can sit. You don't have to stand up there.
I was just checking the footage.
Okay. Yeah. Is it recording?
Yeah, it's
So I want to reduce the lights a little bit. Make it dim again because very dim. If I switch on the blackboard lights, that's better, right? And this works better? Or do you want it on dim and then?
Yeah, dim in blackboard.
Okay, dim and blackboard is better. Okay, so our topic is TatvaBodha of Adi Shankaracharya. We explained, we provided the context for it last time. But as I said, most of these texts begin with a prayer. So let's take a look at this prayer. And I've written it in Sanskrit, but please repeat after me. It says, Vasudevendra Yogendram Vasudevendra Yogendram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum
Natva Jnanapradam Gurum
Mumukshunam Hitarthaya
Mukshunam Hitarthaya
TatvaBodha Abhidhiyate.
TatvaBodha Abhidhiyate.
So you realized we stumbled over this one. It didn't quite fit the meter, right? Tejasvi teaches music to my daughter, so we stumbled over this TatvaBodha Abhidhiyate. It didn't quite flow with the others. What happened? What happened was that there is a sandhi here. It's actually TatvaBodha-Abhidhiyate. The aha disappears because when you sing it, there is no way you can hit the meter if the visarga is there. So, according to the rules of Sanskrit sandhi grammar, this disappears and it becomes TatvaBodha-Abhidhiyate, and then it fits within it. So you realize the sandhi is an important part because you can't chant it, you'll stumble over the words. But when you're studying, if I wrote out this whole thing as one word, you would look at it and go, wow, what is that? So I have verses that the whole thing will be one word. And it's not one word, it's many words that have kind of smushed together because of the way we're singing. Anyway, we talked about this prayer last time. This is a prayer specific to the topic that we're talking about. Our topic is TatvaBodha. Now, let's have to decide how I'm going to do this. TatvaBodha. So right in the prayer that opens the topic, the subject matter has been talked about. Abhidhiyate is Abhidhiyate can be translated as I'm going to explain, I'm going to present, and that's what the topic or the subject matter is. And we talked about this last time. Vasudevendra is the name of the teacher who wrote the word of the prayer. Teacher of the author. That's the teacher's name, Vasudevendra. But Vasudeva is also a special word for the name of the teacher. And Vasudeva itself is, I don't know, if we talk about it right now, we'll occupy the whole lecture talking about Vasudeva. But for those of you who do chant Vishnu Sahasranam, you're familiar with Vasudeva. It's been expounded upon there in more detail. Here in this case, it's the name of the teacher, Vasudevendra. Yogendram is somebody who's established in yoga. He's saying, this is the name of my teacher. This is the quality of my teacher. He's the Yogendram. And Natva comes directly from Namami, which means that I pray and offer respect, which is a fundamental part of our tradition. So, Jnana Pradam, and so, in our tradition we pray in respect to all of our teachers. But in this case, this is a very special teacher. This is a teacher who, Jnana Pradam, is the one who has taught the student TatvaBodha. So it's a very loaded prayer. It's saying that I have been taught this TatvaBodha by my teacher, Vasudevendra, who is established in yoga, Yogendram, and I am going to remember that this was taught to me in a certain way. And I'm going to continue to explain and present that. Why? The question becomes why? And the answer to that why is here. It says for Mumukshu Nam, it is for the Mumukshus. And we actually talked about this last time. What is a Mumukshu? For the Mumukshus. And Hitarthaya, hit means for their well-being, for their benefit. If you put together now the prayer, it says, I'm going to talk about TatvaBodha for the benefit of the Mumukshus, recognizing the fact that it was taught to me by my teacher, Vasudevendra, who's established in yoga, and I pray to my teacher. So that's the opening verse of the TatvaBodha. We actually spent some time last time talking about this as well, so you're familiar with it. But the word mumukshu, that word is going to be very important, and it's going to continue to play in the rest of the TatvaBodha. So what is mumukshu? Is somebody who has the desire. Desire for what? Desire for moksha. So there are people who have a desire for artha, we talked about that. Artharthis are the people who have desire for artha, which means economic prosperity or security. We talked about kama, which stands in for desires of all kinds. Dharma, which stands in for values or what is right. And together these four really are the Purusharthas that we talked about last time. Purusharthas are the goals of human life. Four legs, the stool. It's important for all four to be equal, sort of equal in length. Because if you have a lopsided table, it knocks and it makes noise because the other goals have not been addressed. So while there is an emphasis on moksha, the Shastra recognizes that dharma, artha, kama, and moksha are the four Purusharthas. It would be better if we ask questions, otherwise I'll keep lecturing all day.
Yeah, but like we translated Earth, Ram and Dharma in somewhat English-related terms, just to get an idea for moksha. So,
What is moksha? What is the translation for moksha? The best translation for moksha is freedom. We talked about this a little bit last time. Freedom from what? Freedom from what? Unless you recognize the bondage, there is no freedom. So first you'll have to recognize what is the bondage. What is the bondage? What is bondage? Do you feel bound? Do you have freedom? Be honest. This is one place where you have to be honest. Do you feel bound? Yes, you feel bound. Bound with respect to what?
bound with various responsibilities,
Okay.
bound with I'm working with someone, so then bound with that person. These mostly these things I feel like bound.
Any other? Yeah.
Bound by duties.
Bound by duties and responsibilities. Okay.
By family and relationships.
Real relationships. Okay.
Sure.
Do you feel bound? Bound with what?
Bound in just understanding myself. Like we get confused like all the time. So okay, just to gain clarity.
Is that bondage you're talking about, or you're just talking about
I just feel like
avidya?
not exactly like you mean the ignorance, right?
Yeah, because bondage is a little bit different.
Bondage, okay, so I feel it as a bondage in the sense that we establish links which might not even exist. So that's like a hypothetical bondage that do exist in us. So there's no meaningful connection that correlation that exists between two things, but we imagine that there exists. So that's a hypothetical bondage that exists.
So I'll give you an example. This is classic Vedanta example that he's talking about. A bird comes and sits on a tree, and the apple falls off. By induction, I can say that the apple fell off because the bird sat on the tree branch. That would seem to be, but how is that going to bound you?
So because we are bound to know the answer for that, and so I see it as a bondage when I cannot gain very clear understanding as to like why this happens.
Okay, so you're agreeing with me that you're talking about avidya.
Yeah.
Lack of clarity, lack of vision, lack of clarity. For all of the other ones that have been mentioned, what you're saying is dharma is bondage. Because the rest of the examples were related to performing duties and responsibilities and families and relationships. And yes, you are bound to do what you're bound to do, right? You have signed up for something, you're bound to it, you've made a commitment, you're bound to it. But all of them fall within the category of dharma. Can dharma be bondage? It's a fair question. It's a very fair question. Because this is the one place where we have to be totally honest. Because our subject matter is tattva. Tattva means what? Tattva is that which is real. So unless we are 100% honest, we won't be able to understand what is real. So do you believe dharma is bondage? Twisted the question and now you're taking it back, right? No, I don't feel dharma is bondage. Dharma is my duty, I'm happy to do it, right? So what was the bondage?
I do feel sometimes dharma is bondage.
Dharma is bondage.
Like some duties, it feels like being bound to perform.
Feels like. Is the feels like. I'll say that again, I want to write it down. Feels like. Feels like. That's a very good one. Can I categorize the one that you're talking about too. It feels like it's bondage, right? You have a desire to know something, and you're not being able to get it. There is no clarity. It feels. The key word was feels like bondage. Are you truly bound? Oh, you can always walk away from it if you choose, but you don't.
Feel like it's not correct.
Yeah, and there's a lot of feelings that are going. And for people who are, in the study of scripture, the word feeling is the last thing you're talking about, right? You're here to learn about Adi Shankaracharya, you want to learn about Vedanta, which we thought was quite a process of intellectual growth, spiritual growth. Why is this word feels sitting in the middle of all of this? Something about bondage has got a lot to do with how you feel. So I feel bound. I'm not quite able to express exactly what it is that bounds me, but I do feel bound.
Because if you do not do it, you feel that you're in the wrong.
Yeah. So if you do dharma, you feel bound. If you do adharma, you feel bound. So what is it? Am I bound or am I not bound? Well, truly you are free to choose, no doubt, between the two. You are free to choose. Unfortunately, you don't feel like you are free. I guess that's the one that we're talking about. I don't feel free. Why exactly do I not feel free? Not quite sure yet. But you ask me, what does the word moksha stand for? Moksha stands for the feeling of freedom. Well, I can feel free too. I can say I'm going to abandon everything from today onwards. I am going to take sannyas. Maybe then I'll be free. I won't have any responsibilities. Anybody says, well, you have an appointment today at 6, you'll say, no, I don't. Don't you see I'm wearing orange clothes? I'm not bound. I'm free to do whatever you want, whatever I want. Then they'll ask you, so what do you feel like you want to do? I don't know. I feel like I'm free, but now I don't know what to do, because everything I wanted to do was fitting into the category of dharma, artha, or kama. Now, if you free yourself from all these three, what exactly are you going to do? Well, I'm going to study scripture in order to be free, but you just told me you're free. So what's happening here? What's happening here is that the word moksha is going to be hard to get to. I will give you I'll present you with a hypothesis. You tell me whether you agree with it or disagree with it. But you want freedom from a sense of limitation. I have this sense that something's not right. Something more needs to happen. I feel limited. I feel finite. I feel I have a beginning. I feel I have an end. And in between those two, how many breaths I have, I don't know. What I'm going to be able to do, I don't know. What truly am I going to be able to accomplish, I don't know. I seem to have a sense of limitation. This sense of limitation is the bondage. Karma is not bondage. Dharma is not bondage. We all do our duties to the extent that is possible. But you can't escape from that nagging self-doubt. There is a self-doubt. Did I do the right thing? How could I have possibly done the right thing? I was motivated by my own self-satisfaction, gratification. So there is a sense of limitation. Freedom from that sense of limitation is what moksha is. So wait a minute, how did we even get here? I thought we were working hard, thought we were accomplishing our dreams, thought we were helping others. And if we are happy doing all these three things, why did this even come about? This came about because in spite of doing those things, there was no escape from a sense of limitation. What is this sense of limitation? It's the sense of being finite. It's going to be hard to explain, but as we get deeper into the topic, you realize what we were talking about. So you can tell me that I know that I am not finite. I know that I am not finite. I know that I am Satchidananda. I've heard it. Last time I was here, somebody talked about it. I've heard it in many different places that I am Satchidananda. But I sure don't feel like it. Do you feel like you're Satchidananda? No. Do you feel like you are unlimited? No. I in fact feel very, very finite. I never feel more finite than when I try to feel that I am a Satchidananda. So what is going on here? The discovery of the self. Why don't I feel free? That is the topic of TatvaBodha. That truly is the topic of TatvaBodha. It is the topic of the Gita. It is the topic of all the Upanishads. It's the topic of the Vedas. All of them talk about the same thing. They all talk about what is this sense of limitation. Really speaking, the question is it real? That's the question of it. Because if it is real, then I cannot escape from it, ever. And if I can never escape from it, then what's the point of this? I will always remain a limited, finite individual. And so the question is this sense of limitation that we seem to be born with, is it real? And that's why the topic is TatvaBodha, knowledge of reality. And the question, of course, is going to be, in reality, am I limited? Or is in reality, I am Satchidananda? I don't feel like it. I've heard that it is true, but the discovery is still pending. And so the whole subject matter of the TatvaBodha is the discovery of Satchidananda. So how do we go about doing that? What is the objective of TatvaBodha? So let's talk about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out a little bit more. So I decided that I'm going to write it all out because it works better for me when I write it out. I understand it a lot better. I know that some of you, or maybe several of you, won't be able to read the words as they're written, but I will explain each and every one of them so you will understand exactly what they mean. So that was the prayer. So what is the objective of the book? What is the objective of TatvaBodha? This is what he says in verse number 2. Sadhana Chatushtaya